To live by the sword and die by the sword is a phrase often used to describe the belief that it's a blessing to continue enjoying one's passions until the very end. However, we must acknowledge the undeniable reality that death is the ultimate outcome. This sentiment rings especially true for performers, be they actors, musicians, athletes, or artists of any kind, who often face unique challenges and, on occasion, unforeseen dangers in the pursuit of their craft. In this discussion, we'll refer to their chosen arena as their stage, which can encompass anything from a traditional theater stage to a wrestling ring or even a movie set. Over the years, there have been numerous tragic incidents where individuals have met their end while engaged in their chosen stage. Here, we'll explore the stories of some notable figures who worked tirelessly until their final moments, leaving a lasting impression on live television audiences and stages alike. Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim was one of the most unique and eccentric performers to ever achieve a hit record. Standing tall and lanky, he sported long, stringy hair and had a distinctive, high-pitched, lilting voice. His rendition of the old standard, Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Me, climbed it to number 17 on the Billboard Pop Chart in 1968. What made his performance even more unusual was that he accompanied himself on the ukulele. In 1969, Tiny Tim made headlines by marrying a 17-year-old fan named Vicky on The Tonight Show, a moment witnessed by a record-breaking 21.4 million households, thanks to Johnny Carson. Tiny Tim was known for his unforgettable persona, and he passed away in a manner that reflected his life as an entertainer. On November 30th, 1996, Tiny Tim performed a benefit show for the Women's Club of Minneapolis. While singing Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Me, he suddenly stopped playing and informed his wife, Susan Corey, he and Vicky had divorced years earlier, that he didn't feel well. The 64-year-old performer collapsed, and despite being rushed to a Minneapolis hospital, he tragically passed away a few hours later, likely due to cardiac arrest. Tiny Tim's distinctive career and unforgettable persona left an indelible mark on the entertainment world, and his passing marked the end of a truly unique era. Dick Shawn. Comedian Dick Shawn delivered an unconventional performance at UC San Diego in April 1987, offering a unique blend of humor and absurdity. His act began with a sketch in which he portrayed a disembodied head on a dinner table, followed by an offbeat dance routine performed out of sync with the music. The audience was in for an unexpected turn when Shawn delved into a routine about the end of the world, during which he suddenly lay motionless on the stage. Initially, the audience believed Shawn's immobility was part of his comedic act, given the theme of the end of the world and its association with death. Some playful comments, like "take his wallet," were heard among the viewers. However, after 5 minutes passed with Shawn showing no signs of movement, the heckles and laughter gradually subsided. Concern grew, prompting a doctor in the audience to rush on to the stage, attempting to check for a pulse. Eventually, Shawn was carefully turned onto his back as the situation grew increasingly serious. At this point, the audience realized that something was genuinely amiss and emergency measures were taken. CPR was administered in an attempt to revive Shawn, but despite these efforts, he could not be revived. An ambulance quickly arrived at the scene and transported Shawn to the nearest hospital. Tragically, less than 2 hours after he first took the stage that evening, Dick Shawn was pronounced dead at the age of 57. C.B. Hashian. As an original member of the band Boston, and S.E.B. Hashian made significant contributions to two of the best-selling rock albums of the 1970s, Boston, which sold 17 million copies, and Don't Look Back, which moved 7 million copies. However, as time went on, the demand for Boston's music waned. In recent years, Hashian found himself performing on the classic rock nostalgia circuit, including events like the Legends of Rock Cruise. During one of these performances at sea in March 2017, While he was behind the drums, Shawn suddenly collapsed. Sadly, the incident proved to be fatal, and Sib Shawn passed away at the age of 67. His contribution to rock music, especially with Boston, remains a significant part of the genre's history. Jane Little. Passing away while actively pursuing one's lifelong passion carries a certain poignant beauty. It's a moment that evokes both sadness and astonishment for those who witness it, yet it also possesses a deep sense of romance.
This was exemplified in the life of musician Jane Little, a double bass player who embarked on her musical journey with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, ASO, at the tender age of 16 in 1945. Remarkably, she remained dedicated to the orchestra for over 7 remarkable decades. In February 2016, Jane Little's unwavering commitment to her craft earned her recognition from Guinness World Records. She achieved a remarkable milestone, an astonishing 71 years with the ASO, a feat unparalleled among orchestral musicians. Her dedication and love for music had made her a living legend. Just a few short months later, in May 2016, Jane Little was performing in a symphony pop
concert titled Broadway's Golden Age. The program featured a collection of beloved show tunes that she had spent a lifetime bringing to life through her as the strains of There's No Business Like Show Business filled the concert hall. Tragedy struck. Jane Little, at the age of 87, collapsed while passionately playing her bass on stage. She was swiftly carried backstage, and it was there that she peacefully passed away. Jane Little's life story
is a testament to the enduring power of pursuing one's passion with unrelenting dedication. Her final moments, immersed in the music she loved, embody a profound sense of fulfillment and the romantic notion of living one's dream until the very end. Her legacy lives on as an inspiration to all who strive to follow their passions with unwavering devotion, even if it means making the ultimate sacrifice in the pursuit of what they love. Owen Hart.
Owen Hart was undoubtedly one of the WWE's most beloved and charismatic wrestlers during the 1990s. He was not just a wrestling star. He was also part of a remarkable wrestling legacy alongside his brother, the legendary Bret, the Hitman Hart. Owen's presence was a major draw for fans, and his career was at its peak in May 1999, when tragedy struck during the Over the Edge pay-per-view event. For this particular event, Owen was set to assume the role of an obnoxious superhero character known as the Blue Blazer. His grand entrance was planned to be a spectacular one involving a complex wire system that would lower him from the arena's rafters into the wrestling ring. It was an elaborate stunt intended to captivate the audience. However, fate took a devastating turn that night. The rigging responsible for Owen's descent malfunctioned catastrophically, causing him to plummet a heart-stopping 78 feet from the arena ceiling. His fall led him to collide with the top rope before crashing into the ring itself. In the moments that followed, the 16,000-strong crowd inside Kansas City's Kemper Arena fell into stunned silence. Announcer Jim Ross was faced with the unimaginable task of informing the audience that what had just transpired was not scripted, planned, or part of any wrestling stunt. It was a real-life tragedy unfolding before their eyes. It's worth noting that those watching the event on television did not witness the fall. The broadcast was showcasing highlights of Owen Hart's past matches as part of the build-up to his entrance. Owen Hart was rushed to a local hospital, but tragically, he was pronounced dead. He had recently celebrated his 34th birthday, and his untimely passing sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. It was a somber reminder of the real dangers that can accompany the spectacle and entertainment of professional wrestling, and it left a lasting mark on the industry and the hearts of wrestling fans worldwide. Scaccia. Mike Scaccia and his guitar stood at the forefront of two innovative subgenres of hard rock that exploded in the 1980s, thrash metal and industrial metal. His contributions to these genres left an indelible mark on the music scene of the 1980s and beyond. In 1983, Scaccia founded the band Rigor Mortis, where he showcased his talents as a guitarist. Rigor Mortis played a significant role in the development of thrash metal, a subgenre known for its aggressive and fast-paced sound. In 1989, Scaccia's journey in the world of industrial metal began when he joined Ministry, a band led by Al Jourgensen. Ministry underwent a transformation from synth pop to a guitar-heavy, electronic-influenced style, and Scaccia's guitar work played a central role in this evolution. He contributed to Ministry's critically acclaimed album, Psalm 69, The Way to Succeed and The Way to Suck Eggs, 1992, and played a crucial part in crafting the band's signature songs, including Jesus Built My Hot Rod and NWO. Despite his success with Ministry, Scaccia remained connected to Rigor Mortis and continued to appreciate its significance in his musical journey. Tragically, on December 22, 2012, while performing at the Rail Club in Fort Worth, Texas, as part of a birthday celebration for Rigor Mortis's singer Bruce Corbett, Scaccia collapsed. He was quickly rushed to a hospital but sadly was pronounced dead. A medical examiner's report attributed his passing to a sudden heart attack triggered by heart disease. Scaccia's untimely death marked the end of an era, but his musical legacy continues to inspire fans and fellow musicians alike. Jerome Roosevelt. During the mid-20th century, he promoted ideas such as consuming foods free from antibiotics and supporting local food sources, concepts that have become widely accepted today. Roosevelt passionately believed that these practices would contribute to an extended lifespan. On June 7, 1971, at the age of 72, Roosevelt made a guest appearance on ABC's The Dick Cavett Show. During the interview, he confidently asserted that he had never felt better and proclaimed his intention to live to the age of 100. Unfortunately, he did not live to see that milestone. Tragically, Roosevelt passed away just minutes after making this bold statement. While still on the stage as the show continued, Roosevelt suddenly emitted an eerie and guttural noise, signaling his distress. His complexion turned pale, and his mouth hung open. In a shocking turn of events, Jerome Roosevelt passed away right there on the set of the Dick Cavett Show, in full view of a live studio audience. His unexpected death served as a somber reminder of the unpredictability of life. Les Harvey. The stage, where the magic of music and performance unfolds, is not without its share of potential dangers. It's a place where the unexpected can happen, from falling equipment to slippery surfaces. But perhaps one of the most tragic and unforeseen dangers lies in the web of electricity powering the instruments that bring music to life. It's May 3, 1972, in Swansea, Wales, and an eager crowd of around 1,200 fans gathers to witness the rising Scottish blues rock band, Stone the Crows. Among them is Les Harvey, the band's talented guitarist, tuning up his instrument, ready to unleash his musical prowess. But fate took a cruel turn that night. In a moment that would send shockwaves through the music world, Les made a seemingly innocent move. He reached for a microphone. Little did he know that this seemingly harmless act would prove fatal. The microphone, you see, had not been properly grounded, and as Les touched it, a surge of electricity coursed through his body, ending his life in an instant. Tommy Cooper. It was a fateful evening in April 1984 when Welsh prop comedian and magician Tommy Cooper took to the stage of the variety show Live from Her Majesty's. This live broadcast was beamed to audiences across the United Kingdom, unfolding at the prestigious Her Majesty's Theatre in London. Cooper was about to perform one of his signature acts, the Magic Cloak skit, which was a beloved and comedic routine in his repertoire. In this act, Cooper donned an oversized gown, positioning himself in front of a curtain. His trusty assistant, that night being the show's host, Jimmy Tarbuck, would hand him a series of progressively larger objects, which Cooper would seemingly conjure from beneath his voluminous garment. It was classic Tommy Cooper, a blend of humor and magic that his fans adored, even if it leaned a bit towards the corny side. As the act unfolded, the unexpected happened, as it often does in live performances. Cooper, known for his spontaneous physical comedy, took an unscripted tumble, landing with an uproarious thud on the stage floor. The in-house audience erupted in laughter, assuming it was all part of the act. However, this was no comedic routine. It was a heart-wrenching tragedy. Sam Patch. The world of daredevils and their jaw-dropping feats has always been a captivating spectacle, even though the inevitable dangers are ever present. In 1827, a man named Sam Patch emerged as one of the earliest and most famous daredevils of his time. His daring acts primarily involved leaping from a ledge over Passaic Falls in New Jersey into the tumultuous waters below. As Patch's reputation grew, so did the audacity of his jumps, attracting ever larger crowds eager to witness his feats. In 1829, Patch and his team announced what they termed as his last jump. Scheduled for Friday, November 13th, this jump was set to be the culmination of his season's endeavors. However, the word last turned out to be tragically prescient. During the descent from a towering platform overlooking the high falls of the Genesee River in Rochester, New York, something went terribly wrong. According to an account from the New York Evening Post, Patch's body displayed a worrisome posture mid-air. Began to droop, his arms were extended, and his legs separated. This signaled that his form had gone awry, leading to a catastrophic landing in the water. Tragically, Sam Patch never resurfaced. 4 months later, about 6 miles downstream, Patch's lifeless body finally emerged encased in a block of ice. An autopsy revealed the grim cause of his demise. A ruptured blood vessel incurred mid-fall, likely due to the abrupt shock of the frigid November air. This chilling end marked the conclusion of Sam Patch's daring career and serves as a sobering reminder of the perils inherent in the world of daredevils. Barbara Weltens. French singer Weltens was a rising star whose promising career was tragically cut short due to a freak stage accident. In 2017, at the age of 35, Weltens had just released her debut album, Le Grand Âge de l'Homme, and was a highly anticipated performer at the Léo Ferré Festival in the village of Goudron, France. During her performance at a church venue, she delivered a captivating show that earned her a standing ovation. Witnesses reported that Weltens was basking in the applause when, unexpectedly, she suddenly lurched forward and collapsed lifeless on the stage. While initial reports could only speculate on what had occurred, it appeared that an electrical malfunction was the likely cause of her heart stopping. Notably, Weltens had performed barefoot, which may have contributed to her accidental electrocution. The tragic incident marked the untimely end of Weltens' promising career and life, leaving both fans and the music world mourning her loss. Hijo del Perro Aguayo. In March 2015, the world of professional wrestling, specifically the AE, Asistencia, Asesoría y Administración, Mexico's equivalent of WWE, witnessed a fateful encounter. Two of the industry's biggest stars, Hijo del Perro Aguayo, whose real name was Pedro Aguayo Ramirez, and Rey Mysterio Jr., known as Oscar Gutierrez, squared off in the ring. What was meant to be a thrilling match took a tragic turn. During the course of the contest, the renowned Rey Mysterio executed a high-impact flying kick that sent Aguayo hurtling towards the ropes. In a harrowing turn of events, Aguayo's head made contact with the ropes, leading to what appeared to be a severe injury to his neck. He lay in the ring motionless, prompting both Mysterio and the referee to sense that something had gone terribly wrong. They urgently summoned medical assistance, but the arrival of the on-call doctor was distressingly delayed, taking a full and excruciating 80 seconds. Sadly, by the time medical help reached Aguayo, it was tragically too late. The Tijuana Wrestling Commission determined that the cause of his untimely death was a heart attack, triggered by a cervical stroke. This catastrophic event occurred as a result of Aguayo's broken neck, marking a somber day in the history of professional wrestling. Nick Menza. There's perhaps no more metal way to go than departing the mortal coil while rocking out on stage. Nick Menza was the epitome of metal, having once been a vital member of Megadeth. He manned the drum kit for this iconic metal band throughout the 90s, leaving his mark on revered albums like Rust in Peace and Countdown to Extinction. Beyond his Megadeth tenure, Menza lent his skills to various bands, including Chodl's Trunk, Fear Assembly, Orphan to Hatred, and OHM. However, it was a fateful night during a gig with OHM in May 2016 that Menza's heart gave out. At the age of 51, he collapsed on stage during the third song of their set at a show in Studio City, California, and was tragically pronounced dead upon arrival at a nearby hospital. This somber incident serves as a testament to the enduring spirit of metal and the profound commitment of those who live and breathe it. Call Bruce Hampton. Whether you're a fervent enthusiast or a vehement critic of jam bands like the Grateful Dead, Fish, and the String Cheese Incident, there's no denying that Cole Bruce Hampton played a pivotal role in their existence. Revered as the grandfather of the jam band scene, Hampton was a tireless musician, collaborating with numerous bands including the Quark Alliance, the Late Bronze Age, and the Hampton Grease Band. In May 2017, friends, collaborators, and fans from all corners gathered at Atlanta's historic Fox Theater to commemorate Hampton 70, a celebration of Cole Bruce Hampton. This grand jam session, held the day after Hampton's 70th birthday, was a tribute to the man and his music. Amidst the performances, a teenage guitar prodigy named Taz Niederauer showcased his impressive skills. Hampton knelt down on stage, resting his arm on a speaker. Unbeknownst to everyone, this moment marked the end of his earthly journey. As Niederauer, along with members of Blues Traveler and Widespread Panic, belted out, "Turn on your love light," they remained oblivious to the fact that Hampton's light had just dimmed. Banjo player and concert participant Rev. Jeff Mosier later shared on Facebook that he initially believed Hampton had dropped it to his knees in an expression of humility towards Niederauer. Little did they know, Hampton had indeed collapsed, and he passed away that very night in an Atlanta hospital. Oni Wheeler. Back in the 50s and 60s, Don Warden was one of the prominent sidemen in the world of country music, during an era when it was often referred to as country and western music. While he had an extensive solo recording career, Don, a talented guitarist and harmonica player, was primarily recognized for his role as a backing musician for renowned artists like Johnny Cash, Roy Acuff, and George Jones. Moreover, the legendary Lefty Frizzell achieved massive success with a song penned by Don Warden titled "Run 'Em Off." During the 70s and 80s, Don Warden made his home in Nashville, Tennessee, where he became a regular performer at the iconic Grand Ole Opry. For a devoted country music enthusiast like Don, there was perhaps no more fitting way to conclude his career than performing at the Opry. And indeed, that's precisely what he did. While recording the Reverend Jimmy Snow's radio show, Grand Ole Gospel Time, in 1984, Don Warden tragically suffered a heart attack, ultimately passing away during the performance. Irma Boulay. Remember when Britney Spears famously danced with a giant snake draped around her neck during the 2001 MTV Video Music Awards? Now, imagine if that cobra had not been properly handled and had bitten Spears, resulting in her tragic death. Sadly, a similar real-life incident occurred to an Indonesian singer named Irma Boulay. In 2016, while performing in Karawang, Indonesia, the 29-year-old singer was handling a live cobra as part of her act, a stage prop she had used for years. During just her second song, the snake bit Boulay on the thigh. Initially, she didn't think much of it, assuming that someone had defanged or devenomed the cobra. Tragically, no one had taken such precautions. Approximately 45 minutes later, while continuing her performance, Boulay began to vomit and experienced seizures. She was rushed to a local hospital but was pronounced dead. Dimebag, Daryl Abbott. Part of what makes a concert, particularly one in a small club or venue, so exciting is the intimacy between the band and the audience. There's often little to no separation between the musicians and the crowd. However, the downside of this closeness is that sometimes there's less emphasis on security. On December 8, 2004, the rock band Damageplan, formed after the breakup of the popular metal band Pantera, by Pantera's guitarist, Dimebag, Daryl Abbott, took the stage at Alrosa Villa, a club in Columbus, Ohio. Tragically, a 25-year-old ex-Marine named Nathan Gale managed to sneak into the club with a gun and made his way onto the stage, opening fire on Abbott just 90 seconds into Damageplan's set. Abbott, who was 38 years old at the time, lost his life that night, and so did 3 other people: concert-goer Nathan Bray, band crew member Jeff Thompson, and Alrosa Villa employee Aaron Halk. Gale, whose mother stated that he was discharged from the military due to mental health issues, was also killed, shot, and killed by a police officer. Despite several theories about Gale's motivations, none of them could be conclusively proven. Mark Sandman. Morphine was one of the most unique alternative rock bands of the 90s, known for their challenging and unsettling music. This distinctive sound was largely attributed to singer and bass player Mark Sandman, who pioneered a slow, droning playing style that added a spooky and unnerving quality to Morphine's songs. Tragically, Sandman suffered a fatal heart attack while on stage. The incident occurred during Morphine's performance at the Giardini del Principe festival outside Rome in 1999. At the age of 46, Mark Sandman suddenly stopped playing and collapsed on stage. As reported by MTV, despite efforts to save him, including transporting him to a hospital in an ambulance, he was pronounced dead a few minutes later. Johnny Guitar Watson. Johnny Guitar. Watson was a highly skilled musician known for his versatility and mastery of various musical styles. His nickname, Guitar, highlighted his exceptional talent with the instrument. Starting as a teenage piano player in Houston, he transitioned to the guitar in the 1950s and made significant contributions to electric blues with hits like Those Lonely, Lonely Nights, Mercy, 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 and Cuttin' In. In the 1970s, Watson reinvented himself as a pioneer of funk music. He became a style icon of the 70s, known for his distinctive wide-brimmed hats, flashy jewelry, and oversized sunglasses. With his groovy, soulful, guitar-driven tunes like Superman Lover, A Real Mother for Ya, Lover Jones, and Ain't That a Big Bass, he introduced funk to a wider audience. Notably, his 1980 single, Telephone Bill, is considered one of the early rap songs. In 1996, Watson embarked on a tour and performed in Yokohama, Japan, on May 17th of that year. Tragically, shortly after taking the stage and engaging with the audience in Japanese, he collapsed and passed away. It was later determined that he suffered a heart attack. Johnny Guitar, Watson was 61 years old at the time of his death. Country Dick Montana. The Beat Farmers, despite their numerous well-received albums on major labels, were primarily known as one of the world's finest bar bands, consistently performing at any intimate venue that would have them. They were often described as honky-tonk anarchists, emblematic of the 1980s cowpunk scene, where they blended roots rock with a punk ethos. Country Dick Montana, typically stationed behind the drum kit, founded the band in 1983 after stints with other groups and running a record store in San Diego. Sporting a cowboy hat and duster, Country Dick was a commanding figure who occasionally seized the microphone for at least one song during their shows, often delivering a whimsical novelty tune celebrating the pleasures of drinking. On November 8, 1995, Country Dick Montana and the Beat Farmers took the stage before a packed audience at the Longhorn Saloon in Whistler, British Columbia. Following their performance of The Girl I Almost Married, Montana suddenly collapsed onto his drum set. While the other band members transitioned to the next song, they soon noticed Montana's unresponsiveness. Road manager Tom Ames quickly rushed onto the stage and assisted Montana to the ground. However, when paramedics arrived a few minutes later, it was too late. Country Dick Montana, aged 40, had tragically succumbed to what would later be diagnosed as an acute aneurysm.